Hi, everyone. I am delighted to have another guest on my podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to be chatting with Chrissy, and Chrissy is going to tell us about lead magnets. And I feel like it's something that there's a lot of questions around, and sometimes people feel like they're stuck or not sure of what they should do, or like, should they copy what other people are doing? And that's how I sense it anyway. So, welcome, Chrissy.
Hey, thanks for having me. Love to talk about all the nerd things that are lead magnets.
So, to give us just a little context around your area of expertise, could you tell us, yeah, how you got into doing what you do and what outcomes you provide for people?
Yeah, sure. So I started my marketing journey about 25 years ago.
Mm.
I was working for one of the biggest nightclubs in the Southern Hemisphere, and we were still sending out birthday cards, like an old school birthday card with a stamp and a letter to people. Email was still kind of quite new then, and we were using a loyalty program that could track when people were coming into the venue. I kept receiving all of these return to sender letters and just wasting
Hmm.
money on postage and printing, and said, "Hey, we're emailing people on a day-to-day basis. Why are we not emailing out a birthday offer?" So, what is quite simply now birthday automation that didn't exist, and we had to get the company from Las Vegas who had built this program to create an email marketing software and suite for us. And then over the years, I've always just been the girl who is a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to tech and adopting new technology, but all my email marketing has always been my passion. I've written a book about it. I teach people how to use it. And I just love that we can utilize data, put in place some pretty simple automations that will reap us some rewards. So that's what I do. I help people utilize that data to communicate more effectively and efficiently with their customer base, but also how can we top up the database and attract new customers?
Cool, that's super rad. Yeah, I've noticed in my own career, I've noticed how effective and powerful email marketing can be, and just having it as a start is a good thing, but also getting your head around like really simple things you can do just for a little bit of ease and comfort and satisfaction with your audience. Like I can think of a really clear example of when I was helping to manage a email newsletter for an organization, and we sent a newsletter to the whole audience that had
Mhm.
a feedback survey for an event, and not everybody in the whole audience went to the event. So some people were a little bit cranky that they got a link to a survey for an event they didn't go to. And that is something
Yeah,
that you could like really easily fix in your email marketing platform.
yeah, absolutely. Segmentation is amazing. I have a database of probably around 100,000 people, which I've cultivated over the last, 15 to 18 years. And not one single person will receive the same campaign and content because
Mm.
my data is in different segments, they're in different tags and categories. And then I also use this thing called dynamic blocks. So within the email campaign and the email editor, based on somebody's like or interest category, I can make that block appear at the top for them.
Ooh.
But if, like, say, for example, you're going to a restaurant, if I've selected that I'm a vegan, well, my very first block and message isn't going to be of a steak because I'm
Wow.
likely, going to offend somebody or they're going to
Yeah.
want to opt out. So there's, yeah, really cool things that we can do by having really clean data that will just mean that that communication, like you said, you're not annoying people, they're probably not
Mm.
going to opt out.
Mm.
And then you're really going to have that return on investment with that communication.
Yeah, I think also like one thing I noticed, I think people are doing it less these days, but some people would rather mark you as spam in their email client than click the unsubscribe button.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I don't want people like, I don't want people that don't want to be there.
Mm,
It really screws with your open rates and your click throughs and everything anyway.
mm,
So, and then what happens is if you've got a mail carrier like a Gmail or a Hotmail or whatever, it's actually looking at that pattern. So if people are adding you into junk, it's sending
mm,
a little ping back and saying, "Hey, this carrier and this sender like Chrissy's sending emails, but so many people are putting them in junk. So I'm just going to be intelligent and put them into junk. So that's quite
Mhm.
detrimental to your delivery rates.
Yep. I haven't experienced it. And yeah, it's a good thing to keep in mind and be aware of.
Mm,
I feel like that's another topic we could dive into in another day, but what I really wanted to get
mm,
into was was lead magnets. So I actually had another guest on my podcast recently, and we were talking about email marketing, but we were talking more in the context of getting consent. But one
mhm.
thing that I raised and she agreed with was that when it comes to lead magnets, the important thing is not like whether it's a quiz or a free course or like the method doesn't matter. What matters is the core of it and what you're trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen lots. I've literally been writing. I'm doing 30 days of writing right now, and I'm actually creating lead magnets for three of my brands. And it's really interesting. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a freebie, it doesn't matter if you're paying $4, $30, or
Mm,
whatever. It's really, like you said, that core message and actually giving people value and then wanting them to go on as well. And I'd sign up to everyone's email list, lead magnets. And I also tell my clients when they're creating their own lead magnets, go and purchase your competitors. Actually sign up to people who are in the same industry as you. Because I feel like as solo entrepreneurs or just little small fish, we don't have a business coach there all the time telling us what's industry standard.
mm,
So definitely go and shop your competitors and see what they're doing and go, wow, this is really cool. Or, oh my God, I would never do that. And actually,
mm.
yeah, shop your competitors and see what they're doing and see what you can learn, both good and bad from them, would be my number one tip. And you're not doing anything wrong by looking at what other people are doing. Like, it's healthy to know what your competitors are doing to see how you're placed in the marketplace.
Yep, that's exactly right. I get competitors download my lead magnets and I don't care. I get mad. I know this is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just, there's this awesome book. I don't know if you've heard it, and it's the let them theory. And like, it just says, let them, like, let people do what they want to do. Are people that used to work with me still my clients on my mailing list? Absolutely.
Mm,
Do I delete them? No, because I'm
yep.
happy for them to be there. We might re-engage down the track. Well, you never know.
Yeah, I agree. And you also raised a really good point there as well. Don't just get one, like get a few. Obviously be responsible with your time and don't get too overwhelmed, but like try a few different ones because the last thing I want to hear someone say is like, "Oh, I'm a coach and I really love so and so other coach. So I downloaded their thing and their free workshop's got like 13 emails. Do I have to do that too?" Like that's no, we
Yeah,
want to avoid that.
100%. There's such a thing as over funneling.
Mm,
And like I love a funnel. Like I think if it's done effectively and respectfully, it can be actually quite impactful. But I hate when I sign up for something and then I just set off this like trigger
yeah.
of like email, email, email. Like it actually turns me off that person.
Mm,
I would much rather, I purchase something, maybe a week later I get something.
mm,
Um, and then there are options. But like, I don't think a lot of people actually really understand how to build a good funnel or
mm,
how to actually utilize automation. Because when I do my automation, I have like this or that kind of rules. So
mm,
it's almost like a pick your own adventure story, right? So you open the first email, that's got the click here to download the lead magnet, PDF, worksheet, whatever. And then I can set some little rules in the background that say, hey, if this person received the first email and hasn't opened it within a week, then send something else or
mm,
resend it to them. So you're having the software, and there are so many different software platforms out there. They're very intelligent to
mm,
based on opens, click throughs, forwards. Like you can do so much if you just look and listen, as opposed to there's a lot of coaches, and I air quotes coach, people out there that are giving people bad advice, which is
mm,
then having people disengage and leaving a terrible taste in their mouth because we're just loving on them too much, too quick before we've even built a rapport with people.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and you're right. Like you could do some pretty amazing things with the platforms. Since I don't consider myself an email marketer or automation specialist, I don't work with them myself, but I know what they're capable of. So I've looked under the
Yep.
hood of Active Campaign, and like I'm really impressed with what it can do, but I'd rather leave that
Yep.
work to someone else.
Yeah. Yep. And that's really a really great point. Like, when you're a small fish, and I started my business 12 and a half years ago, just me. And then added to the team and gradually grown to a full services agency now. And I am terrible at graphic design. I will 100% put my hand on my heart. That is where I suck. I know what aesthetically I like.
Mm,
I know what I want to have there, but it's not an effective use of my time. So
yeah.
therefore, I allocate that to an expert. I'll
Mm,
still have an overall say and stuff, but like websites, I'm terrible. I know what I want. I can pass on my requests. So quite often I find when you're first starting out, sometimes it might actually be more cost effective to outsource to the expert as
mm,
opposed to trying to learn all these new skills yourself. Because I think one thing that we don't do as small businesses and that single owner is value our time,
mm.
or even put a dollar value on our time.
Yeah, yep, totally. Yeah, it's all too easy to be like, I really want to do this thing, but in order to get it done, I'm gonna have to like sacrifice my after dinner time when I could be relaxing.
Yep. And good point. Like I read or learn from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. every night. And that is when I am continually learning, reading books, doing trainings, looking at algorithms, looking at
Mm,
stats, because, yeah, something has to give if we want to be successful. And, I was playing with new lead magnets at the moment.
hmm.
And the best way of me doing that is to create them for my business.
Yeah.
I can test them, I can play around with them, I can boost with small amounts, and then I can find how that works and then relay that to my clients or anyone who needs help.
Mm. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, and so did you decide on that time, not just because you got to make a sacrifice, but because that works for your rhythm, your energy?
Yeah, so I'm definitely not an early bird.
Mm.
I spent a fair chunk of my career in the entertainment nightclub industry. So obviously, nighttime is party time, go time.
Yeah.
And I also find um, my clients and my team want to talk to me during the day. So
Mm.
during like traditional business hours.
Yeah.
But then I don't feel like I can actually sit down and then action or implement things unless it's quiet around me.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
There's that stillness. And particularly when it comes to anything that's systems based that requires a little bit of like extra finessing, I
Mm.
just need to be distraction free to work on that task.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And look, there's no shame here. A lot of my audience is neurodivergent. I'm neurodivergent. My partner is ADHD. And
Yep.
like sometimes you just need to work at times that suit you, whether that is late at night or
Yep.
when the environment around you is just right.
Yeah, 100%. And I have a number of like girls in my team who are neurodiverse. I am as well. I have OCD. And it's interesting working with people who are ADHD because we have some neurodiverse similarities, but then there are other ways that we work completely differently. And it was interesting learning that, brains work at different times of the days, how I would action a task, or set up an automation. I might work one way, the girls work backwards. And there's
Mm-hmm.
no right
Yeah.
or wrong way. It's actually been quite a blessing to then be able to work with clients who are ADHD as well to get the best out of them to get the results for them too. No, I think it's a superpower, honestly.
Yeah.
ADHD people who start businesses, if they have the right coaching and the right support, can really thrive and kick ass.
Yeah, totally. And for anyone listening, like, don't apologize for replying to my email at like 10 p.m. I get it. It's fine.
I love the 10 p.m. email. I have a couple of mums that work for me. So they're on early in the morning, during school hours they're on, and then they're doing bedtime, bath time, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then everyone kind of pops on at around 10,
Yeah.
11. So because we have a number of clients in the hospitality sector, they've just finished service. They want to get everything out of their head.
Yeah.
But I'm like you as well. I just say, if you see my email or WhatsApp at, 1 a.m., just ignore me or mute me because I'm just putting it so I don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. All right. So I want to come back to lead magnets because I want to impart some good advice
Yeah,
on the
let's do it.
listeners. So I wanted to get into like where do you start when you don't know where to start? Because I feel like if you just blindly walk into it without a plan, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get stuck.
Mhm.
And I'm a person who values like getting it done right the first time. And it's good to
Yep.
know what you're making before you go ahead and do that. So, like,
Yeah, cool.
where do you start?
Research. So I say you have an idea and you're like, okay, I want to create a lead magnet. We'll just use an example of a social media checklist. So to do a little audit, right? So what I would do is go, I'm an or I'm a marketing agency, and I'm going to offer to people a lead magnet of a free checklist that they can then go through and audit their socials and see, where their numbers are and all that kind of stuff. I would go and search the cosmos, aka the internet, and see what items are out there currently. Are they paid? Are they free? Are there printable sheets that I can already look at? From there, before I go and build anything in like a form or an email sequence or whatever, I actually draw it out on a piece of paper and
Mm,
I do a good old fashioned flow chart. So I go, what is point one? So point one would be to write the lead magnet. And I would then go, where am I going to do that? In Word doc. And then I'm going to use Grammarly to check it. And then I'm going to have somebody to proofread that. So that's the
mhm,
very first step that I'm going to do. From there, I'm going to look at my core audience and who are these people? Are these existing clients that I want to maybe upsell my services for for social media marketing? Or am I looking to attract brand new people who aren't in my cosmos at all? And so from there, I join down my little flow chart again, and it might be both people. So I go, okay, to the left, here's my strategy of how I'm going to approach people that I'm already connected with. And then I'll draw down that from there. I'm going to send them an email
mhm.
which says, hey, Chrissy, it's spring. It's a really great time to tidy up and take check of your social media. Here's my free downloadable checklist. If you need help, let me know. So I build out that sequence and then I go and build it, create the email, pop in the button, the form. If I'm going out to people who I want to attract as new customers, then I'll go, okay, what networks do I have? So I'll write down a list of the places that I could potentially find new clients. That could be Facebook community groups with entrepreneurs, small businesses, whoever my desired demographic might be, neurodiverse business owners, whoever. Then I'll go, cool. Is there a cost associated to post into these groups? No. So what I'd do is I would build myself a website form, create a cute little graphic and be like, hey, fellow business owners, this is who I am. This is what I do. I've created this little checklist, which is super helpful and for free. Go grab it if you like. If you want to like find out more, get in touch. Really short, sharp, shiny, as if I'm giving back to the community.
Mhm.
And then people go, oh, freebie, hell yes. But remember, you're getting those people's then email, name, contact details, which we can then put into a new segment.
Yeah.
They go and grab that little form. And then what we might do is then go, hey, 200 people downloaded this. Amazing. In a week's time, go, hey, Sally, send an email out. So glad that you hopefully, learned a bit more about your business. Did you know that I also offer graphic design? I
Hmm.
offer email marketing and then upsell your services. I would generally put in something like a free intro call. So it's like something else without a delicate value and commitment.
Yeah.
And then, hey, but I'd always keep it really like the best language that works is like quite nonchalant. confident but cool.
Hmm.
Nothing like buy now, buy now, buy now. Like people don't
Yeah.
like that. We don't know
Yeah.
we don't know each other yet.
Yeah.
But from a perspective of a customer, you've already given me something for free that's probably a value of $50.
Mm.
So the next time, and have products ready to go that are free, another
Yeah.
freebie. Have a low entry item, like a 4.99, 9.99 offer, and then have your big ticket items.
Mm.
But I wouldn't be trying to sell a big ticket item like a coaching course or a website bundle or whatever to at least maybe email 3, or
Mm.
if we've spoken on the phone together.
Yeah.
Because you got to
Hmm.
build that rapport with people. Like nobody's
Hmm.
just going to hand over $3,000 to you without knowing who you are. And then the other thing that I would do is play around with Facebook and Instagram ads. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can do this thing called micro investing. So I consider micro investing anywhere from say $50 to $100.
Hmm.
Probably like over 2 weeks, so 15 days at around $8 a day. That's a really nice sweet spot. And start targeting people that are your demographic. A
Mm.
solo business owner, hairdressers, dentists, whoever you want to go after, and just start appearing to them. Use that lead magnet again. Make the graphics and the language geared towards that professional.
Yeah.
And then you'll get success. But start small, try things. Like you said before, you send a survey to people.
Hmm.
Surveys are fantastic. We might have sent, you might have come to my lead magnet, downloaded my social media checklist. My first email back to you might be, and hey, if you've got a few quick questions, if you've got a few minutes, I'd love your feedback on just, a couple of social media questions. 4 questions is ideal because it doesn't
Hmm.
take people a really long time. And you could ask them something like, how many hours a week do you spend managing and scheduling your own social media? What would you say your level of expertise is, like, low to expert? What's your favorite platform? Where do you find you get most engagement? And from there, you could send them another report or something else. So I say start simple,
Hmm.
um, have a look, see what feedback you get from people, and then go for the bigger builds and then the multi-channel flow lead magnets.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I agree. Yeah, you do have to try some things.
Yeah, I'm forever trying, and I love to fail, and
Mm.
like, not everything will always work or resonate with people. And I'll go, okay, cool. Well, at least I tried it, and maybe the timing's wrong, or maybe I need to come back and work on this later. But failing teaches you what to do better.
Hmm.
Because eventually something's going to stick,
Yeah.
and people are going to resonate with stuff. So just keep trying.
Yeah. That's it. Like the people who look like they've got their shit together, like they've probably done heaps of trial and error that you don't know about.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we live in this like kind of BS world where everything on social media is aesthetic.
Mm.
For a lot of people, like you're very genuine. When I see your threads and stuff, I have a chronic illness, so I'm always very transparent about that and how that affects my business. But
Mm.
I think sometimes we get too hung up on comparing ourselves to other people. And
Yeah.
you're very right. We're more often likely to share our wins versus sharing our failures.
Hmm. Yeah. So true.
Mm.
Yeah. So I want to say some things about the setup process of your lead magnet as well, because you had some great info to share about the process.
Mhm.
I wanted to add in that when you're sending out your initial opt-in and say like somewhere along that sequence of emails, there's an opportunity to have a call with you. Like whatever that next thing is, make sure that it is something you can actually do.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I pop in a link to my calendar. I do a free 15-minute call,
Hmm.
and I've got the days and the times of the week that I'll take those calls that suit me because obviously I'm giving up my time for free, and I might get 10 to 20 of them sometimes, like in a week or a month if I've got something going out. But yeah, invite people, like even something as simple as, hey, reply to this email because you've got a reply on. Tell me what you think. Let's connect. Shall we grab a coffee? And I think the thing that we sometimes forget is whether it's a funnel, an automation, a lead magnet, whatever you want to call it, they're all the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But think as though you're talking to one person. Like
Yeah.
keep that response and that interaction as one on one, as opposed to people just feeling like they're a bulk number, a person in a 20 sequence funnel. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
people don't love that. People want to connect with you. They want to buy into what you're selling,
Yeah.
and your story, and build your community by being honest. And like something you just said now has just actually said like in my mind, like say to people like if you've got a lead magnet and be like version 20 before this, I've revised this lead magnet and this email 19 times, and here's hoping 20 is the one that gets you to connect with me today. Like actually be transparent, be real, be honest, because people then go, you know what, it is tough in business land, and you know what, I don't know anything about lead magnets, I just know that I have to have one. Like,
Mm.
yeah, just be super raw and real with your audience.
Hmm.
Let's learn together and say to them, let's learn together. I don't have the
Mm.
answers for everything. Like,
Yeah.
let's try it. Let me know what results you got. Have a narrative going all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. And it's also unexpected. And
Yeah,
unexpected things make you memorable.
yeah, absolutely. Like with a chronic illness, I sometimes have to spend time in hospital, and I'll just be like, the universe really got it wrong when I said I needed like one of my best open rates was like, the universe really got it wrong when I said I wanted a week in bed, my meals and drinks being brought to me. Like I was envisaging like a tropical oasis, but here I am in hospital.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I'll be like, from the hospital bed of Chrissy, like, and then people go, oh, yeah, we totally forgot about that. Or, oh my God,
Mm.
why still working? Like, come back to us when you're ready. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, being a human reminds everyone else that we're all just little humans trying to figure it out ourselves as well.
Hmm. Totally agree. So I did want to throw in another tip that I thought of to do with these sequences and funnels. Not only make something that you can deliver, but also make it something that fits into the logical progression of somebody like moving their way to your paid offers. Because like I could very easily just make a freebie that's like, here's my 10 best chat GPT prompts to write email headlines that go open. But like that's not what I
Mhm.
do. Like I could get people opting into that, but
Yep.
that doesn't fit in with what I do.
That's right. 100%. I think everybody, and you would probably know this from where you sit as well, doing so much for people when it comes to websites and online reputation and stuff is, would you have technology like the chat GTT, which I use as like a counselor now, and if I've got a problem, they'll solve it. But actually, if you haven't done this exercise, go and set yourself a brand tone of voice,
Mm,
um, your mission, your values, who your key clients are, what's your messaging, and then whenever you're creating a product or a program or a lead or a funnel, just say, does this fit into my ethos and my pillars of my business?
mm,
If you're a lawyer, pick law things. If you're a music teacher, pick music, like pick things that are complementary to your business. You can always look at doing joint ventures with people and
yeah.
collaborations. Maybe you're a music teacher, but you've got a friend who's an accountant and they specialize in accounting for music teachers. So look and see where your values align. But
Mm,
I 100% everyone should have a brand tone of voice for who they are and who they service.
yeah. Yeah. So true. That's a super helpful thing to have.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to have to wrap this up, but it's been so wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'm always happy to help. I write lots of free blogs all the time. And yeah, if you have a lead magnet that you've written and you just want someone to glaze eyes over it, I'm happy to give you 15 minutes of a quick free little check over.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a really great service.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming on, Chrissy.
Thank you for having me.